Beats the dead button.
Yes, we are. I have hit the live button. Hello, everybody. We are going to be working on patch 5.5 MSQ tonight. Ooh. But before that, there was a couple people that we need to talk to still in Wurlit, and a little Easter eggs too. So we figured we'd start with that and then move on to all the new MSQ stuff.
These Easter eggs are all the Easter we're getting this week, isn't it?
No, we'll hopefully do the actual hatching tide tomorrow.
Maybe Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, something like that. First off, we're going to start down here at the point. As you can see, they've moved the Sapphire weapon. It is no longer being surrounded by a bunch of airships like flies to a stuck pig. It was really bad. But we have Allie and Gaius here. I assume you can see this okay, Rylia?
Give me a moment. Not really, because I'm not seeing from you. Let me expand Twitch. Somehow.
You could do it. I'll start with Allie. Melisandre, Recon, Rex, Alphonse. I won't give up on our dreams. And of course, that's the monument to all the people who died in the Wurlit invasion. Gaius?
Do remember I have a delay.
Yes.
My children gave everything so that others might be free. I will not rest until the world they dreamed of becomes a reality.
The next person we need to talk to... Oh! He's changed uniform! I.e., he's gotten out of uniform. Mr. Conscript.
Yeah. I considered joining the fight to take back Wurlit, but I decided against it in the end. I've been given a second chance to be with my family, so my fighting days are over.
That's nice to see. 'Cause until now, he's been in the Garlean uniform.
Thank you, Foxfire. I've always figured Gaius is a bit low and growly because he's got a lot of weight on him.
He also likes to pontificate, but you guys will get the prime example of that eventually with the buns.
Well, thankfully he's gotten better.
Oh, God.
Taking him out of the armor did wonders for his personality.
Having him smacked upside the head with the situation he was in did wonders for his personality.
Yeah, well.
Burly engineer.
I'm considering asking Master Garland to offer Evelina a permanent position as a member of... Great. And now it fizzes out on me.
I'm sorry.
As a member of the Ironworks, not only is she bursting with incredible ideas, she has the skill needed to bring them to life.
So we might see her in a future story. Evelina? I know it was only an image projected by the synthetic aurosite, but it meant the world to me to see her face one last time. I'll never forget you, Melisandre. And hiding back this direction. Oh God, I nearly slipped there. These are the kids that were under Varos's care.
Yeah, well, care might be the wrong term.
Ah, that's not the emote I want. Come on! Their emotes are just complicated enough that I never get the right... I'm never able to type the right one. Which is annoying. Yeah, care! Revolutionary Commander.
These children are currently in the care of the revolutionaries, but we hope to eventually find proper homes for all of them.
And this is a kid psychologist, right? You
Let's
are having them... Yeah. They need help. And Valdulin? Or would that be Valdulin?
Yeah, don't ask me. I like to think that my wife and daughter would approve of my decision. When I think back on our time together, I remember the person I used to be. The person I still can be.
And over here is Severa. The citizens of Werlid and the Alamegan resistance are still attending to the injured in the fallen of the Castrum. That's all. Really, that's all you have to say. Yeah.
Yep.
What of it? Okay. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised because yeah, he's still back there, but man, is he hidden. Way back over here, there's a Garlean hiding out that wants to play Triple Triad with you. And he's still there.
Still in uniform.
Still in uniform. But hiding for his life, but willing to play a card game with you. Now, remember during the fight with the diamond weapon, we started out on top of the G-Savior as a platform.
Yep.
There was a second platform there. That wasn't
Yes.
the G-Warrior split. That was a second platform.
And and Sid gave its name, but I don't recall it at the moment.
It's the G-Savior 2.
I thought it was a slightly different name, but okay.
But first, let's go through this. And yes, during the course of the thing, you can actually stand by the giant robot and pose to take pictures with him. It's hilarious. But first, let's inspect the G-Savior.
G-Savior Mark II. Yeah, that's the name I was remembering.
Ask about the G-Savior. Ah yes, the G-Savior. You would be forgiven for thinking it was simply the G-Warrior with an enormous table-like object attached to its back, but there is so much more to it than that.
Not a giant table-like object. That's a beta module.
Its increased size allows for a plethora of additional armaments and so forth, which I'm sure you will agree was worth the massive reduction in maneuverability. Aha. It also gave us room to store more fuel, which enables it to travel over much greater distances. We were concerned at first that Gaius might find it rather difficult to handle, but his experience in piloting the Ultima weapon, which with the G Savior shares many similarities, meant he was able to master the controls in no time at all. Inspect containment apparatus. This device was specifically designed for capturing the diamond weapon. I must say, it was an incredible display of foresight on our part, considering we'd already built the machine before we even knew we needed it.
Yeah. You just happen to have one of these lying around. Look, we need to keep the plot moving, okay?
Starting with a volley of missiles to subdue the target, the G-Savior then moves in close enough to capture it with a containment field. If it tries to resist, we can deploy a smaller detachment of troops to beat the target into submission. Yeah, like us.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Of course, the whole thing would be racing through the sky at high altitude, so it might be a little difficult to maintain one's balance, or breathe for that matter.
Maybe.
We even added a pair of melee weapons, should the opportunity arise for a bit of mid-air fisticuffs. Unfortunately, the diamond weapon refused to hover in front of the G-Warrior long enough for us to drill it in the face. Yes, there's a drill there. And
A drill
saw
on one side and a saw blade on the other, yes.
Yes. Inspect the propulsion system.
I mean, it's impractical enough, but I suppose I should be just as happy that they didn't decide to include boob missiles.
I'm thankful they did not include boob missiles, so let's move on.
Like I said, I'm just as thankful.
That's a very Go Nagai thing, you know that.
Yeah? What's your point?
I have a point?
Yeah, you have that drill.
Making every machinist out there proud. As you can imagine, to get such an enormous machine airborne requires considerable feats of engineering. We initially experimented with a design similar to those of the Enterprise and the Excelsior, but we were unable to generate enough lift. Fortunately, Avelina's knowledge of propulsion engines used in Garlean airships provided to be a deciding factor. Without her, we would have never gotten the the G-Savior off the ground. This is where it gets amusing. I want to inspect the Mark II.
Mm-hmm.
Looks very similar, except in red.
I hadn't really noticed the difference in color scheme in the middle of the fight.
Due to its Allegan origins, we struggled to locate replacement parts for the G-Warrior. We ended up turning to an expert in such relics who managed not only to create a perfect replica of the required components, but even produced enough to build a second G-Warrior. It then underwent the same conversion process as the original model, resulting in the G-Savior Mark II. But rather than using the familiar color schemes of Garland Ironworks, the creator opted for something more closely aligned with his personal tastes. I wonder who that creator is.
Oh no.
You got it in one.
How is there not a giant explosion of egos in the middle of all this?
You know he's got to be around here somewhere.
Sadly, yes.
The primary function of the G-Savior Mark II is to increase the strength of the containment field by combining its generator with the one of the original unit. And propulsion system. As the design is based on the original unit, it offers the same amount of propulsion. The only trouble is, for both G-Saviors at once, is that The only trouble with using both G-Savers at once is that we end up going through twice the amount of fuel. If you were wondering why we don't deploy them more often, you need only look at the running costs.
Yeah. Okay.
And I believe that kind of finishes up our thing in Turncliffe. So there we have it. Now the question is, we need to remember... Ah, that's right. I have this nice thing saying, this is where the next quest is going to be. Unto the breach, we need to head to the Rising Stones. Meet you there?
Sure.
But man, what they did to my giant robot means I can't pilot it again. Boo! Oh, hi Sophie. Radovan. I swear I'll deal with you guys later.
Yeah, sure. That's what you said last patch.
Well, they don't have anything new for me, so... Well, you're around here somewhere. Oh, there you are.
Yeah. We ported in nice and conveniently on opposite sides of the Aetheryte again.
Usually how it works.
Oh, and...
That may be true, but this is also Final Fantasy. They love making their pop culture references, especially to things like Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yep.
Because they enjoy those media just as much as we do.
Yeah.
So, who's around in the Stones? Before we talk to the twins?
Looking like everyone's still where we left them.
Efime? Okay, she's saying the same as before, basically giving info on where Riol is.
Uh-huh.
Though this place just doesn't feel as full as when the Domans were here. I actually kind of miss them.
Definitely.
I'm glad they went home, and they had a home to go to. Alphino?
Checking everyone else. In the face of this new draconic threat, we would indeed benefit from Estinian's presence. Yet I cannot help but wonder how Kryl and Tataru intend to locate him. They certainly seemed confident, however.
This is Tataru. She is our own little black market tier information broker. I have faith in her.
Mm-hmm.
LSA.
Unto the breach. Alice is waiting patiently for the return of certain scions. Not least of all, you. Patiently? Her? Really?
Good news, Theron. Thacred and Urianger have finished their tour of Garlemald and are on their way back here even as we speak. As we still haven't heard anything from the towers from the Alliance, I'm hoping they might be able to shed some light on things. They're due to arrive any moment. Now let's see what they have to say, eh?
Welcoming party. You needn't have gone to the trouble. From what I hear, you've been more than busy enough as is. Honestly, you might have waited for me to return before discovering a cure for tempering. As it is, I can't even pretend to have been involved. Well, if it's any consolation, I myself was little more than a spectator. The lion's share of the credit must go to Alice, Graha, and Relia, and Theron. But I believe I speak for the rest of us when I say we are proud to have rendered what little assistance we could.
As you will also have heard, though, it hasn't all been tales of triumph. Just as we were taking steps towards finally addressing the primal threat, a pile of fresh problems landed in our lab. Anyway, it's good to have you back, though I can't help but notice we're one Urianger short of a scouting party. You haven't lost him, have you?
Oh, I couldn't lose him if I tried. And I did try. Repeatedly. But no, he decided to linger in Alamigo to apprise Raubon and the others of how the land lies in Garlemald.
Then mayhaps he would do the same for us.
Indeed. It was just as Lise said. Worse, in fact. Devastation as far as the eye could see. Nerva and the Nerva and the Third, however, were notable by their absence. Might they have met their end at the hands of Xenos and Fandaniel? Perhaps. Or perhaps they simply lost the will to fight. You see, the capital has been plunged into a deathly silence, with one exception, the Imperial Palace. It was a busy place before the war, but it has grown busier still, with throngs of soldiers and civilians working there day and night to rebuild, or rather transform it.
Transform it? Into what?
That is a difficult question to answer. The construction is vast and unsettling to behold, like something from a nightmare. According to Urianger, certain aspects of its design were clearly devised with the manipulation of the Aether in mind. Magitech, in other words. Yet as unnerving as said edifice was, it was nothing next to the sight of its builders. They swarmed the place like so many insects, working with nary a word exchanged between them. No one overseeing construction, no one barking orders. It was as if they were possessed, or tempered. We wanted to investigate more closely, but given our suspicions, it seemed wiser not to take the risk. If Fandaniel could bind Bahamut to his will, might he have done the same to the people of Garlemald? Whatever the truth may be, this information is certain to prove valuable. You have our thanks. Well, be sure to save some for Urianger. Which reminds me, I have a message from Alamigo. Raubon is hosting a meeting to discuss the latest findings on the towers, and he requested our presence.
Not surprised.
Then why not leave that to us? You must be weary from your mission. No, I'm fine. Those towers have been on my mind since I first spied one on the way back, and I'm keen to get to the bottom of this.
In that case, I shall stay and begin looking into another matter, as I promised Kryl. We not need all attend.
Very well. I suggest the rest of us make our way to Alamigo forthwith. The sooner we leave, the more time we will have to speak with Urianje before the meeting.
I'm sorry, when I see all the scions together, the only thing I can think of is one of these things is not like the other. Looking at Crystal Grandpa and his bright red hair when everyone else, including our own characters, are white-haired.
There is that.
You stole it.
So, are you going to get him a bottle of hair dye for his birthday?
Nah, I think the red suits him. He can be a carrot top, I don't mind. I just find it amusing. Actually, I find it more disconcerting that everyone is white-haired across the board of all the Archons. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you are curious to know what I will be doing in your absence, let us speak of it another time. At present, Kryl and I have made no more than a hypothesis. If you say so, Y'shtola, don't keep secrets.
What the heck? Could they be
That's
hypothesizing?
Urianje's job. Don't just start pulling the rug out from under him. It looks like no one here has changed.
Not looking at.
So I guess we head out. Come on, Topi.
Squeak, squeak.
So, should I continue as summoner, or should I switch back into Dragoon since I actually have a freaking lance now?
All up to you.
Oh, hello, Mr. Behemoth. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
hey
Smack
there.
me in the face. The only problem with Dragoon is you can't see my expression too much, but oh well.
Like you have one.
I do.
You phone everything in.
I do not. I just phone most things in. Okay, so we need to go to the Alamiga Quarter. Ain't that right, Rift? Ah, there you are. Your carriage, my lady.
As it should be.
Nope, went the wrong way. It is so easy to get turnaround here. This place is a freaking warren. And I'm going the wrong way. What did I say about it being a warren? There we go.
Start with Graha.
As soon as I get... Okay, thank you, Rift. I didn't want Rift to mother hen another player. That's just rude. Graha?
I wonder if there have been any developments regarding the Amalja abductions. It can be no mere coincidence that the incidents began occurring just as the towers first appeared.
Alice? The royal menagerie is still closed to civilians. Fandango and his pets certainly left their mark. Alphino?
While we may safely assume that the Telephoroi are behind the works being carried out in the... Telephoroi?
Telephoroi. They actually pronounced it in an earlier cinematic.
We may safely assume that Telephoroi are behind the works being carried out on the Imperial Palace. We can only guess at their purpose.
Thancred?
Although I was only in Revenant's Toll a short while, I did manage to squeeze in a brief drink with Flahanan. Spring water only, it being a flying visit.
He really is smitten with that lady, isn't he? But then again, he's smitten with a lot of ladies.
Yeah, well. Occasionally disastrously so.
Yes. I thought he left those Playboy days behind when he kind of adopted Reen, but no, now that Reen's out of the picture, he's reverted back. Ariane?
Don't think he's really going to be playing the field, just nursing a couple of old flames. My friends, much and more have I heard of your travails in our absence. Heartened am I to see you all hale and whole. As are we to see you safely returned from your mission, Ariane. I trust Thancred made you feel welcome. I'm guessing you.
Well, if it isn't Alphino and his merry band. Nope.
Oh.
We've not seen him in a while.
Yeah. Arnvald, whatever are you doing here? When we spoke via Link Pearl, you told me you'd be away on a mission. And who's to say this isn't part of it? But enough about that. It's good to see you looking so similar. I thought you'd have grown a bit taller after a whole year in another world, but apparently not.
Okay, he has officially acknowledged that there's been a year time span.
Yes.
One of the things they've officially stated about the game is that time is fuzzy and it doesn't actually move forward unless someone in-game actually acknowledges it moved forward. Is the official stance by Square Enix. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
Well, I am sorry to disappoint you. While my soul may be a year older, my body is hardly aged, as you are well aware. And may I remind you that we Elysian are known to be late bloomers, especially in terms of our height. Mark my words, the day will come when even a great orc such as yourself will crane your neck to meet my eye.
Oh, those two are... They've got a friendship going.
Aye, 'twas not till my 20th summer that I myself outgrew my boyish proportions, though Moonbrita towered over me nonetheless.
Well, that's because
yes,
it was
she'll do that.
Moonbrita. Arnvald brings out the best in Alphino, doesn't he? They both seem to be so at ease with each other's company. It's almost endearing.
So what exactly brings you here? Oh, for Dola, mostly. Ah, there's a plate spinning. We need to go over a few things before we set out. Set out? Wait, does this have something to do with the towers? Eh? What gave you that impression? Actually, tell me later. You've got a meeting to go to. I'll see you afterwards, all right? And he was never seen again.
For people kind of tuning in late to the story, that was one...
And since we didn't stream any of that.
Yeah. Arnvald is one of the few survivors of the raid on the Waking Sands. He was away at a mission, but his 2 compatriots died. He actually has the Echo. So while we've been gone, particularly off to the First, dealing with all the adventures there, it's been falling onto him to take care and beat down all the primals as they get summoned. Because he's one of the few individuals who can actually not be tempered. Anyway.
And Fordola is a major character from Stormblood.
Yes.
And she kind of drops off the face of the plotline as of, like, what, 4-1?
Mm-hmm.
See her there, maybe 4-2. And that's it. However, they have had official text stories online for a few things, and there is one that actually deals with Fordola and Arnvald. So if you read that, you have some idea of what's going on there, and that there's primal slaying going on. But there's
they actually mention it
in-game.
They actually do
mention
it
it once.
in-game. If you talk to Arnvald in the middle of Ralger's Reach, he'll mention that they are dragging Fordola along as part of her penitence, because she too cannot be tempered. Even though she pretty much... She did some not good things and is pretty much going to be a slave of the state for the rest of her life in atonement.
We'll get to that on the Bun decade.
Yeah.
Since there's a lot of stuff in between where they are and meeting Fordola at all.
Mm-hmm. Like an entire expansion and post-expansion cycle.
2 post-expansion cycles, really. You know, the
we are streaming
2-1.
Okay. Anyway.
If Fordola is going with him, then that must mean... My apologies. As Arnvald rightly pointed out, we have a meeting to attend. Let us be about it.
Ere we begin, I would like to offer my gratitude to Masters Thancred and Urianger. It is no small feat to infiltrate the Imperial capital and live to tell the tale, much less in times of civil war. Thanks to them, we may plot our course in full knowledge of how the winds blow in Garlemald.
Full glad are we to have been of service. But verily, such dangers as we did encounter pale into insignificance next to those faced by our comrades. An Ascian, armed with the might of Bahamut, bent on bringing about the final days.
Theatrix. He sought only to make a show of the power at the Telophoroid's disposal. But since then we have seen no sign of this Daniel or his worm. And while we've done what we can to bolster our defenses, there's no telling where he might strike next.
Whenever and wherever it may be, we must use the intervening time to learn more of our enemy. 'Twas with this in mind that we dispatched scouts to investigate the towers. Our advance party took longer than expected to return. And when they did, they tried to kill us. Luckily, I'd seen that sort of thing before, and we were able to restrain them before they did any harm. Then it was just a matter of letting the Porksies do their work.
Are you saying they were tempered?
Once they'd come back to their senses, they told us everything they could. It seems that just as they were getting close to the tower, they heard an ear-splitting roar, and that was the last thing they remembered. But what worries me most is what they were saying right before they attacked. Glory be to Garlemald.
The Tempered have heretofore ever been thralls to primal entities. Yet these hapless souls were compelled to accept a nation as the object of their devotion. This calleth into question all that we know of the condition.
Would that the unsettling news ended there. Alas, there is more. Following the earlier reports of missing Amalja, we have learnt that other beast tribes have suffered similar losses. And we now have reason to believe that the abductions are connected to the appearance of the towers.
You were in the room. You made it sound like you weren't looking.
Our scouts sighted black-garbed figures leading shackled Ixal in the direction of the tower in Dravania.
When Penzi was out supposedly taking the piss, I was trying to get out in front.
The Temple Knights were able to intercept them before they could reach their destination, liberating the Ixal and apprehending their captors, each of whom was found to be equipped with Garlean arms and armor.
So the Empire is the common thread.
With the support of Xenos, it seems likely that Fandaniel has rallied a faction of the splintered Garlean army to the banner of the Telophoroi.
Lord Hien reached the same conclusion when I shared our findings with Doma. The plan had been to march on Garlemald from the east and west in order to force a peace treaty. But the situation has changed. Dealing with the threat of the towers must come first. Given the nature of the enemy and the proven risk of tempering, I could think of few suitable candidates to aid in this task. But I am confident in my choice.
What?
Right.
Resistant to primal influence as they are, they can investigate the towers without fear of being turned.
We are glad to put our gifts to use, Commander.
Gifted or not, going behind enemy lines remains a perilous undertaking. But we must know more if we're to strike back at our foe. I'm counting on you.
If it would give us the upper hand, I'd do it 100 times over. We won't let you down.
That concludes the briefing. You two, make ready and join your escort.
Are you certain about this, Arenfold?
I am. Come on, let's talk outside.
Dear, can we probably start the dishwasher with it? Then you'll probably start the dishwasher. That shouldn't pick up on the mics.
It might. The mic's been kind of touchy lately.
Okay, hold off on it.
Sorry, guys. One of the disadvantages is having my computer next to the kitchen is running the dishwasher. But it's the only place we can stick it, so... Sorry, Alphano, if you have to deal with the sound of a dishwasher.
Well... Who first?
Just FYI, you guys talking working bleed through. Other people are picking up.
Yep.
I know. It.
Mostly because the mic is pointed out that way.
Ferdola. If it's small talk you're after, look elsewhere. Yeah, that's Ferdola.
Yes.
The Butcher of Alamiga. Ah! Click on Alphino. I accidentally click on Arnfeld. My bad.
Alphino. I accept that numbers can prove a hindrance when infiltrating enemy territory, but to send only 2. Well, they've never done a model of the parts of the map we'd need to get to for the tower, so we can't go there.
Also, Alphino, to be blunt, besides Rylea and myself and maybe Talon, Arnvold and Fertola are their best bets.
And like I said, we can't go there. They've never built a model of that area.
Are you sure?
Yeah. They're all off-map areas.
Arnvold.
Well, that is out in the open. I don't have to keep it under my proverbial hat anymore.
So you know, I've already gone through all the formalities at the Rising Stones. Made sure to inform Jamoldra and Vmar at Ralga's Reach as well.
Arenvold, I admire your enthusiasm, but this is far more dangerous than anything you have done before.
I know the risks. And I also know what's in store if we don't stop Fandaniel from carrying out his plan. With this power of mine, I can make a difference. If I stood idly by, I would regret it for the rest of my life.
And you, Ferdola? Is this what you want?
What are you asking me for? It's not like I have any say in the matter.
Don't pretend. We both know Commander Eldin gave you a chance to refuse. And you didn't.
So the Empire's finished, is it? But that's what they're all saying. That the great and glorious Garlemald slit its own throat. And now, from out of its twitching carcass crawls the Telophoroi with bloody Xenos at its head! I fought for Garlemald. Killed for Garlemald. What was I a part of? I need to know. Whatever it is, I need to know.
Very well. If your hearts are set on this, I shall not stand in your way.
If you've finished with your touching display of camaraderie, I have a question. Which tower are you planning to investigate, exactly?
Well, the one in Girabani is said to be tightly guarded. It's patrol after patrol out there, apparently. We'd be spotted before we got anywhere near it. Which is why we've set our sights on the one in Pagalthan instead. There shouldn't be anything like as many Imperials to worry about down there.
Even so, I doubt the local Amalja will look kindly on it if they catch you sneaking around in their territory.
Ferdola and I had a chance to learn the lie of the land in our previous forays there. We might still find trouble, but at least we won't lose our way. Well, we'd best not keep them waiting any longer.
Mayhap when all of this is over, we could take another trip to Loxeld. I would have you know I've become a rather capable swimmer since our last visit.
Ha! I'll believe that when I see it. Though, to be fair, getting into deep water does seem to be a scion's lot in life. Take care, eh? It means a lot, you know. You coming with me.
I'll still owe you for saving my skin, don't I? Can't return the favour if I'm not there.
I dare say you'll get your chance before long. That Van Daniel sounds like a tricky customer. Too much for the likes of me, anyway. But we both know I'd just be another soldier if it weren't for my gift. And I need to be a damn sight more than that given what's coming. I realise I can't hold a candle to a hero like the Warrior of Light, or Alphino for that matter. He might look like he's 12, but he's seen more action than most people see in a lifetime. No, the fact is I'm nothing like them, and maybe I never will be. But I'll be damned if I don't try. They're counting on me. On us. So let's give it our all.
He does not want for conviction, that much is certain. So let us have faith in him. Him and Fordola both. While they see to the towers, I would attend to another task. Chasing down this lunar Bahamut.
Ah, bloody thing. Can you hear me? It's Tataru. Ah, I'm happy to say we've managed to find Estinian.
Yay!
And I'm sorry to say he went running off again the moment we told him about Bahamut. But he did mutter something about heading to Ishgard, so if you're quick, you might still be able to catch him.
Even if we set out this instant, he may already have left by the time we arrive. Have her send the Bonanza to Ishgard. It may prove useful should we need to give chase.
Gladly. I'll see to it as soon as Kryl and I get back to the Rising Stones. Good luck.
While you go off on your dragoon hunt, Urianger and I will return to headquarters. We have much to tell the others.
I wish you every success in your search for our elusive friend. May we all meet again ere long.
Estinian does as Estinian does. So we're not investigating the towers directly and leaving that to Arnvold. Interesting.
Like I said, we can't go there. It's all off map.
Graha?
Stinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragon. His was another name that featured prominently in the history books, and it will be fascinating to meet the man in the flesh.
Alistair?
Great. He's going to have someone else to fanboy over.
Estinian does have a lot of fanboys. I get the impression Arnvold is a lot more apprehensive than he lets on. He will have been He will have been grateful to Alphino was there to see him off. Talk about tripping over lines. I'm sorry.
Here be dragons. Alphino is keen to track down Estinian. So, Estinian was bound for Ishgard. Whatever it is that brings him home, we must hope it will keep him there long enough for us to find him. Come, there is no time to lose.
Well, easiest way of dealing with this? People say, like, travel is, like, really difficult. Why don't they just port everywhere? Yeah. Because it costs money. Money is hard to come by. Unless you have a lot. And then you spend it on gilded mounts.
Yes.
You did get the port, right?
Yep.
Nope, that wasn't you.
No.
There
This
you
is
are.
me. And I see the others looted in before me, too.
Yeah. Alisei? Assuming we find him, this will be my first encounter with the famous Estinian. If he's half the man Alphino claims, I'm fully expecting to go weak at the knees. Perhaps do a bit of fainting while I'm at it.
Really? You?
I think that was... insert sarcasm here.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind that, one of the things you guys have not seen yet, because the Bun-Buns haven't gotten there, is Alphino and Estinian have gotten to be kind of this older brother, younger brother dynamic going on between the two of them. Which is amazing, because Estinian is gruff and blunt to a point.
Yes.
Graha?
I have only visited Ishgard once before, after the devastation of the 8th Umbral Calamity. To see the place in all its former, forgive me, in all its original glory is a tantalizing prospect indeed. Yeah, don't mind all the fallen masonry and construction going on.
Hey, there's more construction happening! Alphino?
All present? Good. Let us split up and search for Estinian.
Since we're relatively new to this place, Graha and I will look around the open spaces, the squares, the markets, and whatnot. You and Theron and Rylea can delve into the nooks and crannies.
Very well. Let us reconvene at the airship landing later, with or without Estinian. Good luck. No, if we find Estinian, I'm going to call you all on Link Pearl so you can rush over and help hold him down.
That works too. He has been kind of smitten with wanderlust as of late. Actually, in general, really.
Yeah.
Because every time you run across Estinian, even from 1.0, he was actually in 1.0. He was just kind of wandering around.
I think I shall begin at the Skysteel Manufactory, so perhaps you could try the congregation. Lucia may well have heard news of our friend's return.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
With the Dragoons and the Temple Knights.
Mm-hmm. After all, he might need some dragooning supplies. No, springs for his boots or something.
Hello, Handaloo. Are you up to anything?
That seems to be what he's been at for the last expansion or so. Oh, no. He mentions the Telephori.
Yeah.
Probably since the last patch, but... Day by day, the people strive to restore Ishgard to its former glory. Yet the Telephori would seek to undo all that we have achieved and threaten not only our fair city, but the entire world. As ever, we Temple Knights are ready to fight to the last.
Lucia, long time no see. Good morrow to you, warrior of light. Lord Almeric sent word that you would be attending the meeting in Alamigo, so I gather you have not come in search of him. To what then do we owe the pleasure of your visit? I see. No, we were not aware of Sir Estinian had returned to Ishgard, but as I expect you remember, he is wont to come and go as he pleases. Mayhap he came seeking an audience with Lord Almeric, only to find him absent? In any event...
Possible.
Hmm?
Possible, but unlikely.
In any event, I'm afraid I cannot help you. Perhaps one of your companions has fared better. And up to the airship landing.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad we don't have time to...
Wait, hold on a moment. Remember that. A little bit. Were you suggesting I use ill-gotten coin to purchase the services of a courtesan? Bah, I say. And then there's a second bubble that keeps getting buried under the first one. Oh well.
Yeah, sometimes their bubbles don't quite line up correctly and go by too fast.
And part of the problem is it's a pair of huge bubbles.
Right next to each other, yeah. So, you guys had any luck? Gra?
Sarastinian is every bit as elusive as Urianger suggested.
Oh, you have no clue. If he doesn't like something, he'll just jump out of the way and be gone. He is a Dragoon after all.
Mm-hmm.
No sign of him. Not that I've ever met him before, but the way Alphino goes on about him, I'm fairly sure I could pick him out in a crowd.
Speaking of which, it does seem awfully quiet. If the erstwhile Azure Dragoon had returned to Ishgard, would it not be a source of general excitement?
Speak of the devil.
First the Scion's Coinkeeper, and now you. I'm beginning to think these meetings are more than mere coincidence. Not that I'm complaining.
There's been a manhunt
It's
on for
been
you.
too long.
Oh god, he's gonna get it.
Too long.
You look an ilm taller and twice as rugged. It suits you, Alphino.
Oh no.
Yes! This happens all the time with the twins. Oh my god! Why has
Right, though. Have you been giving him lessons on how to be the strong, silent type?
Oh, I'm surprised she hasn't stabbed him yet.
I am not Alphino!
Oh, where's my bucket of popcorn when I need it?
If the two of you are such firm friends, perhaps you should remember what he looks like. And what do you mean, rugged?
Well, you are rugged.
Oh! Had my brother mentioned what an oaf you are, I'd never have bothered looking for you in the first place.
Oh, and here goes the fanboying.
Estinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragoon. He who fought and felled the dread worm Nidhogg, the warrior of light side. I thought the day would come when I should see this living legend with my own eyes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I keep unusual company. Sorry, Estinian. It'll wear off. Trust me.
Would someone mind explaining what is going on?
Yeah, sure.
Is everything all right? I thought I heard Alize shouting.
That went well.
Estinian! It's been too long. No, it's quite understandable. That was hardly the first time we've been confused for one another. Nor, I suspect, will it be the last.
Well, I, for one, will not be making that mistake again. What I will say, for the second time today, is that you've grown. Inside and out. I can tell.
One can't remain a spoiled little lordling forever, you know.
At least someone's having a good time. You know, when we were growing up, Alphino would never befriend other boys because he couldn't stand the thought of not being in charge. But maybe
They're all
that's
good.
changed. He seems just as happy around Estinian as he does Arenvald.
Perhaps he sees them as brothers he's never had. I think he learned to talk with people and rather at them. I think that's a true one. Well, you can't keep them all to yourself forever. Oh, no, I would not do that one.
It's tempting just to see the reaction, but yeah, I'm thinking number 2.
Yeah. I think he has learned how to talk with people rather than at them.
I wouldn't be so sure. He still loves nothing better than the sound of his own voice.
No rest for the righteous, eh? Speaking of which, I was just on my way to borrow an airship to take me to Azisla.
We can help with that.
Azisla? How could I forget? The dragon with whom Bahamut shared the deepest of bonds.
Aye, Tiamat, his mate. Even now she remains imprisoned on Azisla, though her remorse binds her faster than any shackle.
I see. As the one who first summoned Bahamut, you believe she may be able to shine some light on his latest incarnation. Might I suggest that we make the journey to Azisla together? I'm not sure if Tataru mentioned this, but we Scions have an airship of our own now.
I see no reason why not. Assuming your sister can bear the thought of sharing a deck with me.
Be my guest. But confuse me with Alphino again and I'll throw you overboard.
She'd do it too.
She totally would.
Ugh! I don't know who he thinks he is, but he's nothing like Alphino painted him to be.
You guys just got off on the wrong foot. Which is easy to do with Estinian, actually.
I will admit, he is not exactly as I imagined him either. Based on what I had read of the man, I think I was expecting someone a little less blunt.
No, Blunt is his middle name.
Estinian Blunt Dragoon.
Yes, he totally would land on his feet.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Square. Well, that was a quick trip.
Oh, yeah, and there's the airship.
Yep.
Estinian?
Starting with Mr. Blunt. Tiamat summoned Bahamut once before. She may have again, willfully or no.
Graha?
So this is the Delta Quadrant where countless dragons yet lie imprisoned. Great Tiamat among them.
Alisei? Not to complain, but I didn't expect to find myself here again quite so soon.
Yeah, I kind of thought I'd left the place behind after all that mining I did.
I was actually just here farming earlier tonight. I still have 10 more fates to farm.
Oh boy.
Here.
Yep. It has been quite some time since last I set foot on Azazla, but I understand the three of you were here rather more recently. I don't suppose you chanced to meet with Tiamat during your visit? Nope.
No, we did not.
Alas not. We had no cause to set foot here in the Delta Quadrant, but I have studied the relevant records, which is not to say I wouldn't appreciate a first-hand account of your dealings with her.
Well then, Theron and Riley are the people to ask. As far as I know, they're the only ones of us who have actually met Tiamat face to face.
Yeah.
Let's just say it helped that Midgard Sumner was there to introduce me.
As much as I hate to admit it.
Don't you go knocking my MIDI.
Wow. Ah, yes, you were a friend of her father. Friend is not the term I'd use.
I would.
I, too, have met with Tiamat. After the Dragon Song War came to a close, I came here to speak with her, a worm who had fought her own war against man in another age. I wished to know if she yet harbored thoughts of vengeance, and asked as much. She said no. My hatred for your kind was extinguished long ago. But the guilt she feels for resurrecting Bahamut burns on undimmed. It torments her, even now. I see. Then your original reason for coming here was out of concern that Tiamat had been forced to summon Bahamut. Nidhogg is a part of me. I feel his emotions as my own. And I know that he would not allow his sister to be made a tool of evil. In his absence, it falls on me to watch over her.
Give me the money.
Ooh, pizza!
Pizza, pizza. Direct hit, vitality, determination, that's not bad.
And actually, it's more like pizza, pizza, pizza. There's 3 of them.
I'll take the money.
Yeah, I don't have the inventory. And I only imagine the inventory would get worse once you cut the pizza up into slices.
Mm-hmm. Alisei? Our grandfather sacrificed everything to protect the realm from Bahamut. We must be prepared to do the same. Graha?
The Azure Dragons of history were the mortal enemies of the dragons. Yet now they would be hard-pressed to find a soul who understood them better.
Alfie?
It was the Asians who taught Tiamat the secrets of summoning, even as they supplied the Allagans with the means to capture primals. So much suffering, all of it by design.
Estinian?
Righteous indignation. Estinian is ready to lead the way to Tiamat. Tiamat awaits. This way. And I like this piece.
Yes. It's a
Even
version
if
of
I
Unbreakable. And apparently...
Even if I did get a bit tired of it while mining for one of the Dragon's Hub tools.
And apparently Rift decided he wanted nothing to do with this.
You blame him.
It was like, oh gosh, we're gonna farm here again, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm done with fate farming. I'm out of here. Work.
Pretty much.
And this, gentle viewers, is Tiamat. Forever chained.
Well, I am wondering about the forever part.
We shall see.
Forever's a long time.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If she wanted to break out, she probably could have ages ago, now that the Elegants are gone. Allison? To think that man is responsible for all this. So much else that the dragonkind has suffered. Alphino?
Designed to her fate though she may be, I cannot help but feel that we may be able to help Tiamat. Would she only let us?
Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah.
Graha?
So this is one of the 7 great worms. Even thus confined, her presence is overwhelming.
Estinian?
Right.
And
strong silent type.
Destination. Well, he's very blunt.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, his spear is not.
You want to translate?
Yeah, I was just letting her finish. My sire's mortal companion, what brings thee back to this forsaken place, child of man?
It's plain she knows naught of recent events. Perhaps you should enlighten her.
Under the circumstances, that's a good thing.
That my sin should be repeated. I sensed not the faintest stirrings. As to who could have called him forth, I know of none save the dragons of Mercedia, our children. The Ekon claimed their souls when he first manifested, and robbed of their will, they became tools for the Allagan's dark designs.
I've seen it with my own eyes. Captives of a lost empire, neither alive nor dead, existing only to preserve Bahamut's corporeal form.
Yes, the dragons of Mercidia are at the mercy of this Ascian. There can be no other explanation. Accursed Ascians, vile minions of darkness. Again you would profane the memory of my beloved and strip our children of their freedom, their dignity. Are there no depths to which you will not stoop?
Your children's pain means nothing to them. They laugh at your kind suffering. But tears will not right this wrong, nor will lamentation see the perpetrators punished.
What would thou have from me, Slayer of Dragons?
Behavior befitting a great worm. We came here to ask mighty Tiamat of the First Brood, consort of Bahamut, mother of the dragons of Mericidia, what she intends to do about the crimes committed against her children.
I think he struck a nerve.
Yep. His aim is true.
Were I free, I would answer thine insolence with fire. But that words shall have to suffice. Recall, mortals, that it was I who first summoned my beloved, praying with all my being to bring him forth. You who contend with icons cannot well be ignorant of the consequence.
You too were exposed to his influence. That you are yet in possession of your own will is testament to the indomitable strength of your soul. But were you to meet with Bahamut again, you fear you might succumb.
Indeed. Ask the Dragon Slayer, and he will tell thee of the power of the First Brood wield. Were I to lose myself to the Ekion's influence, all would pay the price. But it is of little matter, for even had I the strength to resist, I yet lack the strength to break my shackles. This prison shall be my tomb.
On the matter of Bahamut's influence, at least, I believe we can be of some assistance. If you're afraid of being enthralled, don't be. We have a cure. And while we've never tried it on one such as you, its basic principles are universal.
Speakest thou in earnest?
There is no future for those bound to the past. That you committed a terrible sin, I do not dispute. But if you feel remorse, you may yet make amends. We offer you that chance. Take it, or you will forever remain a prisoner, not of these cruel shackles, but of your own guilt.
A chance to make amends. To lay Bahamut's memory to rest. When our own star faced annihilation, Hydaelyn granted us sanctuary, and now your foe would bring about her destruction. This I cannot allow. For the debt I owe to Hydaelyn, and to all who have suffered for my sins, I shall fight with you, children of man. So we're gonna get a chance to free her. About freaking time!
I had a feeling that's where we were going to end up going once they did bring her back in.
Alizé? It won't make up for what she suffered at the hands of Ben, but if there's a chance we can free her, truly free her, we owe it to her to try. Alphino?
I confess, my heart was in my throat when Estinian thought to berate her, but it appears to have had the desired effect.
Estinian?
It would seem she still has some pride after all. Let's see if she's as good as her word.
I get a feeling she will be. Tiamat, make Midi proud of you.
Oh dear. While Percy's have been shown to be effective in curing the attempered, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immeasurably more powerful than any subject treated thus far. Were we to remove her restraints only to find that the process had failed, we'd be hard-pressed to contain her.
Then, before going on ahead, we should learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition. You suppose we can find that information here?
Why, yes, we can. We can indeed. The Alagans kept detailed records on all of their notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. I know Alphino and Rayleigh and Theron here well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Rest assured, Sir Estinian, that I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of this star, though that is not my only reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim to know all of her sorrows, I too once found myself in a prison of despair, and I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make me take the first steps towards a brighter future. And now I would hope Tiamat do the same. I gather you're not as young as you look.
He outdates us by a good 100 years, probably, at this point.
Mayhap when our work here is done, we could trade tales over a pot of Tataru's famous tea. And be indebted to her for the leaves in the hot water? I think not.
Yes, you apparently know our little blackmailer mistress very well.
I see. Returning swiftly to the task at hand, then. I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the flagship. Ah, yes. We are familiar with it. The Aether Chemical Research Facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this. A spirit vessel containing a small amount of my blood.
Which you just happen to be carrying around with you.
I suppose that could seem rather odd, but to explain, Ambrose, Ryanje, and I are researching the use of spirit vessels in the transference of not only memories, but the traits of certain bloodlines. And so I keep this one at the ready should an opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its use to you, you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes here granted access to restricted functions, having identified me as being of royal blood. And armed with that spirit vessel, I posit they will do the same for you, even in the absence of, well, the rest of me. It seemed worth a try, at least. Agreed. We will take good care of it. Yeah, that's not something to go losing. To the flagship, then.
To the flagship.
And I want to see what the heck that message was.
Ah, that's the emergency maintenance. Oh, I forgot to tell you about that one. Apparently, it's a selected all-worlds maintenance starting at midnight.
Yeah, I
on
saw
the
the timing.
upper decks of Limsa Lomenza, Old Gordania, Ulda Stepsathal, and inside of all housing. Make sure to be in a different area or log out before the maintenance begins.
Yeah, I saw. Do you know what they're doing?
I've got a feeling it has to deal with the new collision detection system. You know that patroller that patrols outside our house?
Yeah?
She kept falling through the floor this evening.
No.
Yeah.
So, emergency all-worlds maintenance to rescue our poor twin-adder patroller.
Yes. Among probably other NPCs.
Yes, yes. Well, you do realize this means that this might be the maintenance that causes all the furniture to explode out into the front yard.
Yeah, I've been scared to go into my house in the guild house because I glitched that to heck and back.
Gets.
Yeah. Graha.
Alise and I shall remain here and attend to necessary preparations. In the event that the spirit vessel fails to work as expected, you know where to find me. Good luck.
Alise? It's possible the restraints may have mitigated the effects of her tempering, but Tiamat has been enthralled to Bahamut for thousands of years. To have clung on to her reason through all that says a lot for the strength of her will. More than a lot.
Yeah, and wanting to be free is a big help in anti-tempering, so... Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of aether for this, but prognosis is good.
And that's the flagship. Woohoo!
And thankfully, we're not going anywhere near the Warring Triad again.
Should I fish up another compound 104?
If you want. Here's a
That'd
question.
take too long. Or an electric shark.
But here's a question. Don't know if we've ever thought to double check. Nope, they're still there. The Warring Triad, since technically we've gone through that.
Yeah, they're still there.
You think they'd instance that?
I like the fact that they've got the little skiffs.
Yes. No wonder they didn't want to take a ride on the carriage.
Astidian.
I would rather leave these Allagan contraptions to you and Alphino.
Probably for the best. Alphino?
Let us split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find a likely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It would not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself in her current state. Our objective at this stage is simply to identify the relevant node or nodes. Once we've learned what we can, we should reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding.
Makes sense.
So, how is your Ancient Allagan at the moment?
Actually not too bad since I've been doing a lot of book work with Summoner.
Oh, good.
Now, do we go down?
You get to translate all the control panels.
You get to help. You're a scholar.
Look at the pretty pictures of fishies.
Over here.
There's Justinian.
Oh.
Come over here for a moment.
So you've been effectively researching fishing with all those Allagan tomes of ichthyology, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Uh-huh. Estinian?
These nodes, or whatever it is you call them, why do they quiver so?
I think that's just... Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna check up top, see if it's, that's where, Alfie is.
Right. Ooh, there's another node up here, though. One there. Okay.
There's
So
several
three
nodes.
different nodes to talk to so far.
But no Alfie.
Not yet.
Not seeing him.
And isn't he just lovely? So the malodorous node first.
Yeah. Careful there.
Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical levels. Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance.
Yeah, we're...
They will retreat to a safe distance. Excuse me, coming through.
I think that one has reached its life expectancy. Clamorous node.
Bloop. Warning. Scheduled dragon restraint maintenance due in negative 2020 years. Failure to verify system integrity may result in unscheduled specimen release.
Oh, sounds like the restraints are at their wit's end.
Well, somebody's restraints are, not necessarily hers.
This way?
Up top?
Oh, you took
the slow way up.
Yeah.
I took the ramp.
I do not like how close this thing is. I feel like it's gonna sneak up on me and start throwing a flamethrower at me. Obstrepious node?
Obstreperous. Disagreeable. Data link with Delta Quadrant broken. Possible cause, intruder interference. Advise deployment of automated combat units. Proceed? No.
No. And
Okay, here's hoping Alphino has had better luck.
Estinian?
Infernal things. One of them sent a swarm of mechanical vilekin to plague me. I must have angered it. Oh dear. I am afraid Estinian and I have little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? Yes, a chirping node which spontaneously warned me about neglecting the dragon restraints.
Hold on.
But yeah, I did! A node which smelled like burnt hair! Or, I, found the way to activate the mechanical sentries, if that's any help.
I think it's the middle one.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the maintenance on the dragon restraints is 2,000 years overdue.
Yeah.
Spontaneously, you say? Well, that does sound promising. Almost suspiciously so, in fact. But then you were in possession of the spirit vessel. I dare say it is indeed the node of which Graha spoke. And it was chirping, you say? Very well, let us take a closer look.
Make us go back to the node.
Yep.
Hello, Mr. Sphinx. Was it up top or around the sides? I don't remember.
It was this one. Ah, there it is. Yeah, the burnt hair was the one on the other end of the below deck. The obstreperous one was up top.
Yep. Alphino?
Oh, sorry. You get to do them.
As I suspected, the node will not acknowledge my authority to issue it instructions. Stinian. How did the Allagans tell these godforsaken things apart? Good question! Calamitous node.
Blip, do you wish to operate the dragon restraint mechanisms? Blip, bloop. You do not have the requisite access privileges. Operation of the dragon restraint mechanisms may only be undertaken by the chief technologist and members of the royal family. Or those with a vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. Field trial spirit vessel. One never knows when a small portion of royal Allagan blood might come in handy, which is why Grahatia keeps this vessel about his person. Flip. New user detected. Commencing biometric authentication. Bloop. Authentication complete. User identified as member of the royal family. Please state your name.
Theron Vexna.
Bloop. Welcome, Relia Sarnath. You may operate the dragon restraint mechanisms when ready.
Hey, so when did I turn in my sister?
Bloop. Error. Unable to disengage restraints of the specimen Tiamat. A system update is required.
Uh-huh.
Okay, fine. Give me a little bit. I'll update to Windows 10.
Actually, don't you mean, PS5? I hear that's in beta now.
A system update? What do you suppose it is asking of us?
I could hazard a guess.
Hazard a guess? Yeah, we're not going to smash this to pieces. Thank you, Cold Server. Well, that's more than I could say. Confounded bloody thing. User agitation detected. Initiating guidance program. Bloop. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, I am unable to establish a link to said system due to the obsolescence of my own software. This issue can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located within the flagship. So, can this thing release the restraints or not? It can, but only once it has received the requisite system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it'll float there spewing nonsense.
Yeah, pretty much.
User dissatisfaction detected. Initiating placation protocols. Bloop. I am here to help. Rest assured that I will be on hand to guide you through every step of the system update process.
It has a sense of its own self-worth. Nice! Then again, we're effectively dealing with a bunch of obsolescent nodies.
Yeah. How gratifying. I dare say we will fare better with guidance than without it.
Alpha no?
Sid and his colleagues always make operating these Allegan devices seem so easy.
Estinian?
I don't know what possessed the Allegans to surround themselves with these chattering orbs, but the fact that they remain while their creators do not speaks volumes.
Restraintment node.
Though I have to say, I am being continually reminded of the scene in Zoolander.
Which one? There were several.
The bit where they're trying to get the... I forget what they're going after, but there's some stuff on this Mac that they're trying to download off, and they go through the entire Apes and Monolith bit in 2001 during it.
That sounds about right, yeah.
It's Zoolander.
Yeah. A surprisingly, stupidly funny movie.
Yes.
The second one was worthless.
It's one of those things where you could only do it right once.
Mm-hmm.
For vengeance. The restrainment node stands poised to lend a hand, figuratively speaking. Bloop. Guiding user to terminal. This way, please.
Yay, an escort quest! No, wait. Where's this pointing? Okay, we're gonna have to go up top.
It does say up.
One thing's for certain, the Allegans sure knew how to build things.
Yeah.
There's an Allegan engineer.
And we're above it.
Oh, nice.
Down here, maybe?
No, you can't jump there. That's where you go fishing.
Okay, then.
But yeah, there's an Allegan engineer standing back from the live stream going, I built that.
I built that, yes.
Okay.
And this isn't just some piddly bridge.
No? Maybe?
Yeah, we need
Aha!
better guidance from our guidance node. Right.
No?
This terminal appears to be similar to the one we encountered when we first set foot here. Let us hope it will be equally helpful.
Estinian?
Don't look at me. This is a task for you and Alphino.
Strength node?
Bloop. Access granted to user Rylea Sarnath and her adolescent Elysian companion. Master Sarnath's other companion is deemed a potential risk to safe operation and has been denied access privileges until further notice.
No offense, that's actually probably for the best.
Wow. Let's see. According to the terminal, the central control system is presently employing software version 56.135. Dare I ask which version you are employing? Why, software version 42.002, of course. Bloop, bloop. Warning. Errors detected in the data management system. Estimated time to update, 5 years, 1 day.
Really?
That's a heck of an error. That is rather longer than we were hoping. Aren't there any other options? For instance, using this terminal to operate TMS restraints instead? Bloop. The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned, however, that the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update, and my instructions may no longer be accurate. Well, I can't imagine it will have changed all that much. As long as we pay due attention to any discrepancies, I dare say we shall be able to muddle our way through. Oh dear. They've moved all the cheese, haven't they?
Yes, they've moved all the cheese.
Don't bother trying to explain. Just tell me if we've made any progress. I would say so, yes. It does, however, require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you via link pearl once I'm ready to release the shackles. It might be best if you left the spirit vessel with me. I may yet have use for it. Rest assured, I will be certain to return it to Krahatia once this is over. Yes. No losing little pieces of Crystal Grandpa.
Yeah, we like our Crystal Grandpa. Everyone needs a fanboy like him in our lives.
Just a little more work and Tiamat will be free. But before we go any further, there is something I would know.
Alright.
When Tiamat and her kin fought against the Allagan Empire, both sides were but dancing to the tune of the Ascians. And it was the same in Ishgard, where they stoked the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All that the Ascians touch turns to ash, and thus you have made it your mission to fight them. But there have been times when you tried to reach out to them instead, to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Fandaniel? Will you try and reach out to him too?
I don't know if we can. He is kind of a crazy nut.
Certainly, after I've wiped the smile off his face.
That may be easier said than done.
Yeah, but it's very tempting.
I will try, yes. And if that fails, I'll remember him. Ow!
In my nightmares. I'm sorry, that's a creepy smile.
Yeah.
But, yes. Not expecting a whole lot, but... I see a little point in reasoning reasoning with the wretch, or remembering him for that matter. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people, even if it be but the faintest glimmer. I only hope you do not come to rue your benevolence. Think us unwise for viewing the world thus? Far from it. That has ever been your way, as I learned when we journeyed together with Isengard. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited. And there may come a time when you extend the hand of friendship only to wish that you dealt the killing blow. So, save your mercy for those who deserve it. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Alphino has things in hand here, I suggest we rejoin the others. And actually, I suggest we retire to an inn.
Yeah, it is that time.
It is past that time, but I wanted to get through this part first.
So, Limbs is out. Gridania we can do because the inn is in New Gridania. We can't do Old Daw. So, and we can't do our house. Or the guild house.
Yeah.
We could do Kugane for sushi.
That sounds good. It's for fishy, that's good enough for me. F is for fishy, that's good enough for me.
One very expensive port to Kugane coming up.
Sushi is never cheap.
No, it is not. Not good sushi.
Not sushi worth having. Sushi that you do not belch up for the next 2 days.
Look out! It's a chicken! It's a giant chicken! Sorry.
No, you're not.
Not really.
You're not sorry at all.
Well, maybe a little.
There I am.
Well, thank you all very much for joining us. We are hoping to continue this Wednesday night, starting at 9 o'clock, or 9:30
probably
about.
9:30ish.
A lot of it depends on who we've got going where. Hello, Tay!
Well, depends on how late gaming goes. And yeah, that one's likely to go a little late.
Come join us for sushi! I hope you guys have enjoyed. I do not know how long it will take for us to get to the dungeon that's associated with this particular part of MSQ, but we'll get there eventually.
Yes.
In any case, you guys have a great evening. Sleep well, be safe, and we hope to see you on Wednesday night.
Everyone have a great night. Have a good Tuesday, a good Wednesday, and hopefully we'll see you Wednesday night. Ooh, and
if Care's
you're
on,
on,
we will try and raid Care. If I can ever spell his name right. If I can type this command in correctly. I need to like this nice big button preset up that I can just hit and it'll go, raid, Care to win!
Yeah.
There we go. Does that work? Alright, we are packing to raid, Care to win! Alright, now shuffling you off for cookies galore. Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.